South Carolina experienced historic flooding and rain over the past couple of days. And in this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups, I sit down with one person who guided us during the storm, Channel 4 Chief Meteorologist Dave Williams.
Hey,
How are you, Quintin?
I am doing just great.
Good to see you.
Likewise. I want to start off with some developing news. You said this 2 days ago on Twitter. Quote, river flooding will continue into next week, but things are gradually looking a little better. Tell me, when you hear the words gradually looking a little better, what do you tell yourself?
That those floodwaters are slowly going to recede from people's yards and get back close to the banks. But even once these floodwaters recede, there's still going to be some ponds in people's yards because it's just been that heavy out there.
And I know I saw a picture of your house in Conway.
Oh, yeah.
How's your house?
It's fine. It's
Yeah.
fine. The water was close, but
Yeah.
when we lived up in Conway and Myrtle Beach, we bought a house up there. We still have it.
Yeah.
And the floodwaters came within about 2 feet of the front door. So scary indeed. I'm glad I wasn't there.
Yeah, thank God. Thank God.
I was here.
That's right, working hard. And you also said this too. October is the 4th wettest month ever.
Yeah, ever.
Wow.
And actually, we got a little bit more rain since then, so it's
yeah.
the 3rd wettest month ever.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And I want to take you back to the time when we did have the flooding and rain here in Charleston.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of meteorologists said that this basically was the historic flood of the century.
Yeah.
When you think of that, where are you emotionally?
Well, I think that was actually a little overblown. We picked up, in a lot of places, 3 feet of rain. Out in the Francis Marion National Forest, we picked up, say, 3 feet of rain. I never want to be in a situation where people's lives are put in danger
Right.
by things like that.
Right.
But I also want people to know that when things like that happen, I'm here at work and I'll be available to give them all the information that they need.
Speaking of which, on October 4th, you said the following on Twitter, after all the rain and flooding and whatnot, final total of this particular rainfall, it was, I believe, 11 inches?
11 and a half inches just for that one day. That was just for Saturday.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was a 24-hour period from midnight on Saturday morning to
Right.
midnight on Sunday morning. That was 11.5 inches of rain, the wettest day we've ever seen at the Charleston airport. And those records go back to 1938.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Columbia. While we got a lot of rain and flooding here, they really got the worst here.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, from a meteorological standpoint, why Columbia, not Charleston?
Well, there are several different factors that play into it. First of all, they've got a lot more pavement there, and the pavement, the water runs off very quickly. And also, there's a little bit more topography there. So the topography, it drains into the valleys and things like that, and that's where you find those flash floods, where all that water just comes into the same area at one time. Our flooding here was a little different.
Right.
Our soil's a little bit more capable of handling rain like that. So it wasn't quite as bad here, but yeah, with the pavement and the topography, those are probably the two main things that played into it, because we actually got a little bit more rain here in the low country than they did.
And when you hear 19 deaths, what goes to your mind?
That's heartbreaking. It's absolutely heartbreaking because we have sayings like "turn around, don't drown." I know there are some people that were in the wrong place at the wrong time, and it was just a tragedy.
Right.
But for the people that made that decision to drive into floodwaters and
Yeah.
things like that, it breaks my heart that they don't listen to the things that we say.
Yeah. And speaking of which, you got a little flack prior to that. Well, you really didn't mention anything about a hurricane, but you got an email from a viewer. Talk to me more about that.
Well,
And you don't have to. I mean,
there were people saying that they were just upset that I was stressing the fact that this wasn't coming from Hurricane Joaquin.
Right.
And it definitely wasn't. It was a completely separate weather system. In fact, it's the weather system that pushed Joaquin away from us.
Right.
And as terrible as this situation was, we could have been spared from a Category 4 or Category 5 hurricane because of all that rain that came through here. So it was terrible, but it maybe could have been even worse.
let's go to October 2nd. You said the following: ridiculous rain could be headed toward much of South Carolina. Storm front and upper level support could equal epic rainfall. When you think about what you wrote, what still sticks out in your mind?
Usually I'm pretty cautious with things that I say. I try to downplay them and keep them very realistic, but in this case, that really played out.
Yeah, you're right.
That really played out. Usually I err to the side of caution.
You do.
And this time, I mean, we just kind of had to throw caution to the wind and say, this is going to be a historic event, and it ended up to be that.
And you actually worked here for 24 hours.
Yeah.
What was your secret really to staying afloat?
Oh my gosh.
You know, no pun intended, Dave. Coffee.
No.
What's that?
Tea.
Really?
Tea.
I don't drink coffee either, so yeah.
Breakfast tea.
There you go.
So I had plenty of breakfast tea. There was some sugar involved there, but really, it wasn't about that. It was about making sure that people got the information that they needed. So it's almost the adrenaline that keeps you going through. So after that, I crashed.
Wow.
So after working for 24 hours, I took a nap and then woke up, and after that, I was out for a good 12 hours.
And did you finally got that country fried steak?
No, I haven't. I still have to get a country fried steak. I tried to get that on Sunday morning,
Right.
but the good thing is
Yeah.
people stayed in their houses where they needed to and let the emergency personnel get the cleanup done and things that they needed to do.
Let me ask you the obvious. What's next for us?
What's next for us? Well, we've got an El Nino winter setting up, so temperatures will probably be a little bit below average, and we could pick up some precipitation as well. So looks like a cool, damp winter. Hopefully not a real wet winter because we don't need anything. Fortunately, right now, looks like a gorgeous stretch of fall weather.
That is awesome to hear.
Yeah.
Well, Chief Meteorologist Dave Williams, always good talking to you. Thank you.
Great to see you, Quintin.
Thank you.
All
I
right.
appreciate that.